Thank you very much for staying tuned to the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA. My name is Cecile Egbele, and you are watching the Medley Show live from the studios of the NTA. Now, I guess at many times, many of us have been in situations where maybe someone around you has a cardiac arrest, or there's a snake bite, there's a choking, or your baby or you, asthma maybe, and you are a little confused on what to do. We have seen many people just give up because of some basic first aid that cannot be rendered to these people when they get to suffer such attacks. Well, first aid will be the focus of our discourse on the Medley Show today. We'll, as much as possible, take a look at educate ourselves in very simple terms, the different first aid for many of the conditions or many situations that may happen before taking the person to the hospital. All right, of course, I am not a first aider. I am not a medic, so I have two guests with me on set who together we're going to do justice to this. First, let me introduce the doctor by my side, Dr. Chijioke Otikpa. Welcome.
Thank you very much.
A physiotherapist.
Yes.
And are you also a GP? I know that you...
Physiotherapist. Yeah, I'm currently interning at the National Hospital.
Okay, at the National Hospital. Oh, good. So you would have seen many situations I would like you to share with us. All right. Sitting right next to him comfortably is from the Nigerian Red Cross. He's a trainer from the Nigerian Red Cross, and he is Omenikolo Ikenna.
Thank you, Ceci.
All right, Ikenna, thank you very much for coming around.
Thank you.
All right, you're a trainer with the Red Cross. How long have you been doing this?
I've been doing this at least for 8 years now.
Oh, 8 years and all right. So I guess there'll be many situations we'll talk about. All right, I would like us to just go straight up in. Remember, you can be a part of this program by sending in your questions or contributions to our phone line 081 177 82020. That's our phone line. You can. It's a WhatsApp or text only number. So just text us, ask us your questions or your contributions as we get along the program. So let's start with some of the basic, some of the very, not basic, some of the frequent first aid cases maybe you might have dealt with or you were familiar with. I know issues of cardiac arrest. Maybe let's take cardiac arrest first. All right, let's do cardiac arrest. So someone is, how does it happen? First of all, what triggers it? Because I like to know what triggers something before we start going to talk about how to render the first aid or treatment and all this stuff. So what triggers a cardiac arrest?
Okay, so cardiac arrest is basically one of the, I would say, end stage part of a heart attack. Usually starts with a heart attack before the heart finally arrests. The muscles of, some of the muscles of the heart that are meant to be receiving blood from a blood vessel that supplies the heart, because there's an issue with that blood vessel, a blockage or something, the blood supply gets cut off, and then the cells start dying. Yeah,
so what causes all this, baby grandma? I like to know prevention, or does it just happen?
So most of the time, issues, cardiovascular events, neurological emergencies.
Can you speak English? Can we come down to basic ABC? Yeah, well, there are many people watching this, from the farmer to the trader to the professor. So as much as possible, we'll try to speak in simple terms.
Let me break it down.
Break it down.
The heart has blood vessels, pipes that connect to the heart. The same thing, blood runs from the heart to other parts of the body, to the brain. So when there is a blockage, maybe there is collection of fatty tissues, or there's a clot somewhere in the body that travels to the heart or travels to the brain, that's where you can have issues like stroke and cardiac arrest. That's when it blocks that blood vessel. Is it something
I eat that causes that blockage and all those tissue things?
It could be as a result of sedentary lifestyle. It could be as a result of, sedentary in the term, in the sense of, people who sit a lot, people who do not move around, who are not physically active. A lot of people have adapted to certain lifestyles or certain situations where they are just in one location all through the day, as long as hours and all that. So, that could lead to such accumulation of fatty tissues. Another thing that could do that is obesity. you know, bad diet, poor diet, consuming a lot of calories and all that can lead to clogging of these fatty tissues in those blood vessels.
Okay, I'll get back to it to talk a little more about it, but I'd like to hear from Niken. So, cardiac arrest, we know that it's one of the, I don't know if it happens according to age. Does it do maybe as you advance? Because I don't know if children do get cardiac arrest. Anyhow, but cardiac arrest, he's trying to explain that, and stroke and all. How, as a first aider, would you tell someone who is not a medic to attend to this person? I'm shocked. This is happening. I'm worried, like, what do I do? Okay.
First and foremost, I think it's very important for you to spot some of the basic signs. What are those things you should look out for you to suspect that, hey, this person might actually be having a heart attack. Heart attack. Let's start with heart attack.
Okay, heart attack.
Because it's from heart attack, just like doctor said, it gets to cardiac arrest.
Okay.
So what are those signs you should look out for? First and foremost, when you see anybody suddenly start clutching his or her chest, just suspect that something might be wrong with the heart if care is not taken. Yeah. And of course, when you probe further, you start hearing things like he's having a chest pain. Normally start with the chest before it starts exuding to any other part of the body, the back, the jaw, the abdomen.
How long, what period of time is all this?
I can't really give a time frame. I think it varies from individual to individual.
Okay, can it happen and stop, or something it just happens and the other one follows immediately?
No, these are all symptoms that can come. I can't really say if this will come. But these are some of the symptoms you should look at for. Once you see some of these things, but the first one that normally drags your attention without the person coming is when you start seeing the person holding up his chest like this. Once you spot that, please know that it is time to do more proper investigation. Ask some questions and all that. So if the person complains of pains in the chest, of course you see them sweating excessively, and some other symptoms, you start suspecting as a first aider that this might likely be heart attack. And of course, you do what you are supposed to do in order to give the person a chance of survival.
What am I supposed to do? Because that's why I need you. What am I supposed to do before I get to you?
Okay. When you have to deal with a heart attack, anything neurological emergency, and when I say neurological, anything has to do with the brain, the nervous system and all that, it's usually very complicated, very complex. As non-medical doctors, you have very little or nothing to do. The most important thing is to spot those things, be able to identify them. And of course, the best you can do is to rush them to the hospital as early as possible. The earlier they go to the hospital, the lesser the damage. Okay. But being that as it may be, there are some other few things you can do in order to prepare the person even while you are getting the person to the hospital. So if you spot somebody who is having a heart attack, at least to a very large extent you have been able to confirm that, hey, this person might actually be having a heart attack, you encourage them to sit on a comfortable position. Okay.
When you say what's a comfortable position, sitting upright?
When we say comfortable position, we are looking at the position that best suits the ailment the person is suffering at that moment. We have so many medical conditions. Asthma, most asthma people will prefer tilting this way. You understand? We have so many positions. So that one that best suits them. Preferably, the comfortable position for somebody with heart attack is to sit down, most especially on the floor, so that they don't fall off. Then you have a way of at least raising their nails a little bit as much as you can. This gives them some form of relief. It's not a solution though, but it gives them some form of relief, even while they are still inside the ambulance. So far as they are still conscious, you just have to place them that way, while you make sure you get them to the hospital as quick as possible.
Okay, all right. So I will come back to talk a little more, but I think we have a feature. We have a feature that is ready now, and this one takes a look at some fitness for you. I mean, you need to stay healthy and fit so that we'll try to, as much as possible, avoid situations where we'll get to take you to the hospital, at least get a first aid. So let's take this feature on healthy living as it takes a look at fitness.
3, 2, 1, go!
For many people, Fitness exercises involve hitting the treadmill at the gym, squatting, high-impact aerobics and other vigorous routines. But do you know that there are some exercises which have lasting healthful results and overall wellness? Here are a few. Massage has been a bone straightener since ancient times. Carefully rubbing and stretching the body muscles using the palm and applying some essential oil and pressure to the soft connective tissue from the back down to the legs helps to reduce the pain and muscle tightness in the body.
Massage has a lot of benefits. I think everyone should get a massage at least once a week, especially if you work 9 to 5. If you are the kind of person that don't get up to 8 hours of sleep, you definitely need a massage. A 1 hour massage session gives you what 8 hours of undisturbed sleep gives to you. So you can imagine sleeping for 8 hours without waking up to pee, without waking up to, check your phone or, generator sounds, and then just sleeping like a baby for 8 hours. That's what you get from a 1 hour massage session.
For those who grew up in the countryside with streams and lakes, going to the water bodies may seem like some fun activity. But experts say it is a perfect exercise for the whole body, whether learnt in a swimming pool or a dive into streams. Fitness professionals say this is one workout that keeps your heart rate up, builds endurance, strengthens the muscles, relieves stress, and improves general wellness. In countries where walking is a common practice, life expectancy is higher. Nature.com, a review and perspective online journal, says the average Chinese walks over 6,000 steps a day, while worlddata.info puts their average life at 75.3 years. Same sources say in Nigeria, the average person walks about 4,000 steps daily and life expectancy is 52.5 years old. Taking walks or cycling instead of riding in cars can positively affect your overall well-being. Also, did you know that climbing up hills and mountains does not just afford you the opportunity to look down on the town, but it challenges you to strengthen your muscles and improves your health. Lace up your sneakers and get a company or two to run some miles. It not only improves your relationship, but increases your heart rate and improves cardiovascular health. This doesn't require much. With just a rope, you are good to go. Whether skipping alone or with friends who will hold the ends of the rope for you to jump over, the result remains the same. More blood flow in your body and improves your heart condition. Whatever the exercise is, swimming, flipping the hands up, skipping, walking, or even massage therapy, make it a regular routine and you just may be keeping the doctor far away.
All right, so whatever physical exercise you like, you can do. At least I know I can skip, I can't swim. Like I would always say, me and children, we know our parts, where our leg will touch the ground. Okay, they say swimming is one of the very best exercises for the whole body. Well, I don't know about that, but it's okay. So let's just pick up from where you left off. You're talking about heart attack leading to cardiac, Right. Yeah, so, but you were trying to explain first aid, sit upright, your knees up. Yeah, so I need to know a little more. What can I do? How can I revive the person before calling the doctor?
When can you revive the person? When it is heart attack, the person is still very much conscious. Okay. The person is still breathing. The person at least knows his or her environment. Okay. So that is why we say the best you can do for that person is to sit him, preferably on the floor. Let him or her lean on the wall. Take him or her closer to a wall so that he can lean on the wall. Then you raise the legs a little bit closer to the chest. This gives them some form of relief.
Oh, can we just practicalize that? Let me guess one. Can we do that? Ayo, please come in. So let's. This is no. Ayo, just come in and let's do that. So this is someone. You say you should sit up or.
Okay, just sit down here on the floor here. Just go closer to that edge. Let's assume this is a wall. Okay. Okay. So he needs to balance, support the walls to support him. Then at least you raise this leg as much as you could.
Come this way. You can stay this way so that the cameras can see what you're doing. So
you raise this leg as much as you could.
Okay.
That's the best perfect position he can be once you suspect that a person is having a heart attack.
Okay.
So even while you are rushing him, even at the ambulance, you can encourage him to be like this.
Okay. What about if he's unconscious but still breathing?
Unconscious but still breathing. That is now when we need to place him in a recovery position. I don't know if we can demonstrate that.
Yes. Okay. In a recovery position.
Yes.
All right. Let's.
So get me the blanket alone.
Okay. So you spread the blanket.
Okay. Okay. Can you just please lie here? Now.
Watch your head. Just.
Okay. So let's assume we met him this way. One thing is for you to confirm if he's actually breathing or not. It's very important.
Okay.
So that you don't deal with a different casualty in a different way.
Okay.
So first and foremost, how do we confirm that? Mind you, before you attend to any casualty, you must make sure that the area is very safe for you. It has to be safe. So I must look around, make sure that the place is very safe for me to operate. It's only when it's safe for me to operate before I will even go near.
What do you call safe?
Well, there is no danger. There is nothing that can hurt you. Most likely, whatever it is that have actually caused him to be in that position. It might not necessarily be a heart attack induced. Something else can cause someone to go unconscious.
All right.
So generally, you have to be very mindful of your environment.
Okay.
I don't allow love, emotions, what else again, becloud my sense of reasoning.
All right.
Once there is an emergency, you need to be very careful. That means watching around, making sure that the whole place is safe for you. It's only when it's safe. Assuming maybe it's electric shock or electrocution. Of course, I can't go touching when I know his hands are touching a naked wire. I must make sure every necessary steps are taken before I eventually go close to him. Switching off the light, getting the wires off him, and of course, discharging this current.
Okay. You said let's do the breathing, unconscious but breathing.
But breathing, yes.
Okay.
Fine. So I'm just giving you instances. So when the places are safe for me, the next thing I will do now is to elicit for response. I want to see if this person, because we are trying to find out if he's still breathing or not. Because it's only then that we can do whatever we need to do. Okay? So I know him. I'll start calling his name, hoping that he talks back.
Okay.
Hello, why are you like this? Are you okay? Can I help you? Is there anything wrong with you? Of course, I'm sure if he's still very much conscious, he's going to talk back, isn't it? So, but he's not responding. He's not answering my questions and all that. So from here now, I'm already suspecting that this man is unconscious.
Okay.
He might either be breathing or not, isn't it? So, but I need to probe further. I need to be very sure of his true situation. So, as I'm listening for response, as I'm talking to him, trying to raise some sounds, and he's not responding, the next thing I will walk until I get very close to him.
Okay.
At this point, I will still have to continue to elicit for response. But in this case, I will want to introduce some form of pain. We call it mild pain. Though some school of thought goes as much as using a needle, piercing their fingernails, some even rub their earlobes. But we don't do that. What we do simply is just to tap his shoulders. While I'm tapping his shoulders, I'm looking at him from head to toe to see if I can observe any form of movement.
Okay.
If I can, that means he's definitely still breathing, though unconscious. So, hello, can I help you? Open your eyes. I'm commanding him to open his eyes. Sometimes he might not really be opening his eyes, but I might see something like blinking of his eyes. If he can do that, that means he's still breathing. That means circulation is still going on very well. So all I need to do to place him in a recovery position at this moment. But I'm assuming I didn't get all this. So I can even go as far as holding his hand, squeezing it myself to see if he's going to react to that.
Okay.
If he doesn't, I will ask him to squeeze my hand. Sometimes he might not really be squeezing my hand, but he might get something like this. This also shows that he's breathing for him to be able to do this. So, but I'm also assuming that this is not happening. I've exhausted all this avenue. The next thing I'm supposed to do is to ensure that his airways are open. His airway is open.
Okay.
Very important. Very, very, very important. Once someone is unconscious, they tend to lose control of their muscles. That is why when you hold your hand like this, when you leave it, it falls back, isn't it? When someone is unconscious. When you also pull their legs, it falls back. They are no longer in charge of their muscles at this critical point. The tongue is also a muscle. What it does here now is to fall backward. And when it does, it blocks the airway somewhere around here. What that simply means is that this man, even when he's still breathing, will not be able to access oxygen from the environment. So as a very good first aider you are, you must make sure the airways are open once someone is unconscious. Okay. So,
you want to show us the opening the mouth? Let's do that.
I want to show you how you can open the airway. The formula is head tilt and chin lift.
The formula is what?
Head tilt and chin lift.
Head tilt and chin lift.
Chin lift.
Okay.
So what do I mean by head tilt and chin lift? Get this hand on the forehead. Just with my 2 fingers on his chin, I will drag this like this as much as I can. Sorry. Okay. Once I can do this, I have succeeded in forcing the tongue forward. I don't need to open the mouth. Naturally, the tongue has been forced forward. What that simply means is the airway is now open. When I say airway, I'm looking at anywhere around the nose, the mouth, down to the lungs. These are the passage through which air, oxygen gets into him, and also is the passage through which carbon dioxide gets out of him. So once I do this, the tongue will give way, allowing him to breathe very well. So with this now, I will now still go further to check if he's still breathing. Okay. Whether he's breathing or not. When you go to the hospitals, when they want to confirm someone is breathing, they likely go for the pulse. But as first aiders,
that's what you guys do, right? Yeah, the pulse. You guys check our pulse here.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, here. Okay.
Yes.
But as first aider, we might not really have a luxury of time and all that.
Yeah.
So we devise our own means of making sure or getting to know if this person is still breathing. So we call it the LLF. What is
LLF.
LLF.
Okay.
Look, listen, and feel.
Look, listen, and feel.
So that's what we do in not more than 10 seconds to see if we can pick any sign of breath in this guy. Okay? So when I come now, I take my chin very close to his nostrils. Just this way. Just within 10 seconds. I'm looking at the chest to see if he's rising and falling. I'm listening to see if I can pick any sound coming out from him. I'm also feeling if I can get any form of air coming out from his nostril. Once I can pick any of this, what that simply means is that this man is still breathing. Okay. Okay? Next. So let me repeat it again, please. Okay. Something like this.
LLF.
LLF. Look, listen, and feel.
Okay.
So usually what you get is a warm air coming out from the person. But from this your colleague, what I'm getting is a hot one. To show that he's very, very, very much super alive. So at this point, I just need to place him in a recovering position. Since he's still breathing, though unconscious. So the best thing I can do for him is to place him in a recovery position. So the big question is, how do you place someone in a recovery position?
Can you do that very quickly and very briefly?
Okay. Getting this hand that is closer to you, place it in angle 90 this way.
Okay.
Then of course, you go back and pick up this one. Holding it like this, then you take it to his chin. When you do this, please don't remove your hand. If you do that in real life situation, this hand will fall back. He's merely helping me to keep it there. In real life situation, it's not going to be this way. So I must make sure I support the hand this way. The next thing is to find a way of lifting this particular leg, because that is the only way I can place him in recovery position. Okay. Professionally, you don't go and pick from here, especially when you are dealing with the public. They don't even know what you are doing. When you are dealing with an opposite sex, they will start shouting, why are you putting your hands in your laps, in the person's lap or so? So you prefer raising the legs from here now. So I'm going to raise this leg like this. This is a standard. Okay. Initially, placing people in recovery position is a Herculean task, especially when they are very big. You see us running around. But with this now, it's very easy for us to place him in recovery position. Once I can lift this leg like this. So with this hand like this, all I need now is just 2 fingers to roll him down to my side. Getting this leg like this, of course, I'll get him this way. Sideways. Then, I will go and make sure I keep this leg this way. Then, of course, I will ensure that the airway is open for the second time. This is the perfect position he needs to be.
All right, it's time for us to go on to another feature, and this feature is a Vox Pop, which we asked people some questions. How often do you go to visit people like the doctor? How often do you go to visit your doctor? So these were our findings.
Like last year, I went 2 times. I have a friend, while I was going to the hospital last year, I told him that we should go and also check our HIV status. He was saying that he's not going, that he doesn't want to go and check for something that he doesn't know. I said, but it's better it's better you check and then you know how to go about it.
It's good for medical checkup, at least maybe every 2 months or 3 months. I go once, you understand, to know my status, so I can know how to treat myself. So that's why I need to go for medical checkup.
The last time I went to checkup was last year, and the importance of going to hospital is to check your medical status, at least to know how your body is, because it's very, very important.
2 years ago or so. Because normally it's right to go for a medical checkup, but due to the nature of our country now, nobody has that money to go and be wasting.
So Chijoke, how often do we come to visit you?
Okay, I am a physiotherapist, and the way we operate here, particularly in this side of the world, is we usually get referrals from the general practitioners. So you don't get a lot of, the medical doctors, you don't get a lot of people coming to you directly, But from general observation and from research, people usually only present to the hospital when they have pain that is almost killing them. So they wait for the symptoms to begin to manifest to the point it's almost harming so much, then they begin to look for the doctor. So a lot of people
ideally,
people have, or let me say, the wide majority of people have poor help-seeking mechanisms or poor help-seeking behaviors when it comes to medical care. A lot of people, that was part of my research when I was in doing my undergraduate studies, and I found out a lot of people would actually try out other types of care before they get to the hospital, before they seek proper medical care. They will try out traditional care, they will try out roots and herbs, they will try out the roadside store that sells drugs and medication stores. They will try out other things. Some of them will try to wait it out. Let me just wait. Maybe the chest pain I'm having, it should be a normal thing.
When we go to your hospitals, you guys give us big bills, so we just...
the last guy said it, that nobody has the money to waste.
Anyhow, so I understand that we should do a little, even as we age, visit your eye doctor often, your dentist often, and of course, check your general health. Yes. So I guess some government hospitals are not as expensive as private, so I think we could give it a try. Ikenna, I see some dummies here. Tell us what we're seeing here. I know we talked about the CPR, so can we run through this very quickly? And the baby is there also.
Okay. These dummies present an adult, a child, and of course an infant. In first aid, when we say an infant, we are looking at the age bracket between 0 to 12 months. While a child, we are looking at from 1 year, or 12 months rather, to 14 years. So anything above 14 years, we see them as an adult. We treat them as an adult. So we handle them is slightly different when they suffer cardiac arrest, or even when they go, because when we say cardiac arrest, we are looking at a situation where the heart is no longer working, the person is unconscious, and the person must have collapsed. So I can equally say unconscious and not breathing, instead of using the word cardiac arrest.
When people collapse, sometimes they're breathing, sometimes they're not breathing.
Yes, definitely.
Okay, so we're looking at a situation where people collapse in any of this.
And they are no longer breathing.
And they are no longer breathing.
Yes.
Wow. Okay, let's see.
Okay, so when someone collapses this way, it's either the casualty is breathing or he's no longer breathing. So we need to do our little findings, just like we did with the other guy. I need to look out for danger. I need to also be sure I elicit for response by talking to the casualty to see if he or she is going to respond. Because after using the voice, I will also use the slight pain to see if he or she will answer me. And of course, if that doesn't work, I need to open up the airway. Just something I did with the other guy. Then of course, at this point, I will still do my LLF. Look, listen, and feel. But most likely, I'm not going to get anything from here. I'm not going to get the signs I got from
Ayo.
This Ayo. So at this point, I will need to start CPR. I will commence CPR. What is CPR? Cardiopulmonary resuscitation. Is the only option I have here. What I'm trying to do here is to manually compel the heart to continue doing its good work. What is the good work of the heart? Pumping blood. This is just what the heart does. One of the most effective machines I've ever seen. Not bigger than the fist of your palm, but continuously, right from the day we are born to the day we will die, the heart continuously makes sure that every part of your body gets the right amount of oxygen. So I'm going to compel the heart to continue doing that, because at this point, the heart is not doing that. Blood is not being circulated to every part of the body, and the brain is very sensitive, most especially the brain, to lack of oxygen. Once it's not getting oxygen, it starts dying off and all that. So I need to ensure that every part of the body gets the right amount of oxygen. So that is why I need to give CPR.
All right, let's see.
Okay, when I get this hand, or any of the hand though, the heel of my palm is what I'm expected to make contact with the chest of this casualty. It should be at the center of the chest, in between the two nipple lines. You just have to be very careful to make sure it is here. Because if you take it a little bit downward, you might end up breaking the sternum, which is not too good. You understand? So it has to be at the center of the chest. Then, of course, I use this other hand to support this. Now, let me say this before I go on. If you are given CPR, please make sure it's on a hard surface for you to achieve the desired
Not on a mattress.
If you do it in a mattress, it will not be that effective. So it must be on a hard surface if you really want to achieve the desired results. So when I get this hand this way, place it exactly at the center. The elbows need to be locked. Shouldn't be too fast, and of course it shouldn't be too slow. If you are too fast, you will not allow the heart. If you are too fast, you will not allow the heart, because when you push like this, the heart forces out blood. When you remove your hand, it recoils, trapping blood. So when you are too fast, you will not give the heart enough time to trap enough blood. So you have to be very moderate. If you are too slow, you will not be effective in pumping out, allowing the heart to pump out this blood. So when I get this hand this way, right at the center of the chest this way. So I'm going to start my CPR now. 30 chest compression. 30 times and 2 live breaths.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 30. Okay. We'll do that 30 times.
Okay. I should assume that we're already 30?
Yes, please.
Okay. So this is 30. Okay. Now the next thing is for me to introduce 2 live breaths into this cavity.
Let me join you there so that I can
this is not
follow.
Compulsory. Sometimes there might be issues. Maybe the casualty's mouth is severely.
Let me even do that thing you did. You said this is it.
I'm a left-handed person, that's why I do this. You can do this if you want.
Let me just do this.
Your dominant hand can go first.
My dominant hand
yes,
should go first.
Yes.
Then said the
then
middle.
The other one support.
Yes.
I go 1.
You are not at the middle? Get it this way.
Okay, the middle up.
Yes.
Middle.
Don't bend the elbow.
I should not do
Don't bend your elbow.
Okay, I should not bend. Oh.
The elbows need to be locked.
Lock the elbow.
Then I do that 30 times.
That's quite light.
Yes.
Soft.
That's soft.
You need to compress 1/3 deep of the heart. So Facebook will tell
something like that.
So you can see it's not an easy task.
It's not easy, but
it's not an easy task.
You need to train us because we don't know when we'll be needing this.
Definitely, and that's why we're here.
Child, maybe a 14-year-old may want to do that for his father.
So the truth is that you need to compress this 1/3 deep if you really want to achieve the desired result. Some first aid book will tell you 5 to 6 centimeters, while some will tell you 2 to 2.4 inches. You understand? So this is to let you know that you must compress this deep.
Okay, I do 30 times. After the 30, what else?
So after the 30, you now want to introduce 2 live breaths into the casualty system. How do you do this? Using this hand, you seal the nose so that the air doesn't escape through the nose. And of course, you use your mouth, seal up on the casualty mouth. But of course, if you are dealing with somebody you don't know, you need to also be careful. So you don't get the person infected or the person gets you infected. So you need a mouth guard. For me, this is 1. So once I get this, if I want to introduce 2 live breaths, when I get this, I'll use it to cover the mouth of this casualty. Something like this. Get it in between the mouth this way. Okay? So I will pinch here, and of course I will introduce my live breath. 1, 2 times. Okay?
Okay.
So I need to get this off and now check if those signs I was looking for the first time,
okay,
if I can pick any of them. Once I can pick any of them, I'll quickly place this casualty in a recovery position.
Okay.
But if I can't, I continue. It's either the casualty comes back to consciousness or I get tired. Like you already seen, this is energy sapping.
Yes, it is.
Please, if you get tired, you must stop. Don't continue because the next thing you might also collapse. You need to regain some energy. Moreover, luckily, you can hardly see an accident scene or emergency scene where it's just only you. Encourage somebody else to take over from you. Or when you finally hand over to the hospital.
This protector thing, because, I mean, how can the air passage, can the air pass through this?
Yeah, this is transparent.
All right, so let's do, so we managed to get this guy.
Okay.
Okay, so let's check out the child.
Okay. Okay, so this is a child. In case of this child, there's a slight difference in what I'm supposed to do for this child. First, I'm not using my 2 hands.
Okay.
I'll just have to use just 1 hand.
Okay.
If I'm supposed to give CPR.
Okay.
So when I get this hand, I place it right at the center of the chest this way. Okay? And I'll start with my 30 chest compression.
Still 1/3 of this.
1/3 of his chest.
Okay.
Okay? So after the 30 chest compression, then I will now need to introduce 2 live breaths.
Just the same way we did that.
Just the same way we did that.
So let's check out the child quickly.
Okay, now to start with a child. Sorry.
Baby, sorry.
To start with children now, to start with an infant, how do you even know that the infant is breathing or not? It's very, very important. Okay? So when they go unconscious, see the same thing we did for an adult. Go this way, check if the infant is breathing. But most likely, it will be very difficult to pick up a sign if this infant is breathing. So what we'll do is to go further and scratch the foot. This is the most sensitive part of the child's body. If this child is still breathing, most times you see them pulling back. If you have a baby at home, just dare touch there. You see them pulling back their foot. So when I notice the child is pulling back his or her foot, at this point, I know that the baby is still breathing, though unconscious. Okay. And now place the baby in a recovery position. This is their own recovery position.
Not on the ground?
Not on the ground. Holding them this way.
Holding them this way.
Yes. This is how to place a baby in a recovery position, okay? So, if the baby is not breathing, that is now when I will have to place him on the ground. In their own case, what we just need is 2 fingers. Place this 2 fingers at the center of the chest, and of course, the same 30, 1/3 deep. Then of course, use your mouth to seal. In this case, don't come and be pinching their nose. It's too tiny. You might end up injuring them. But your mouth is wide enough to cover both the nose and the mouth. So I'll just use my mouth to cover both the nose and the mouth to introduce 2 live breaths.
Wow, okay. We've learned. Yeah, I want to add something.
Yes,
Doctor.
I wanted to say something here. You know, when it comes to administering CPR, the very first thing you should do when you find out that the patient is unconscious and you need to start CPR is to call for help. It's very, very important. If you are in a hospital setting, you can call for the emergency team to come and take over. But you should immediately start administering CPR. And there's a current regulation or the recent review by the American Heart Association 2020. And what they were saying is, even if you are not sure what to do, you can at least start with chest compressions. You can at least start administering chest compressions. Your force should come from the shoulder, not from any other place in your body. It shouldn't come from the elbow or from the wrist. You get tired easily. So whenever you get, you get exhausted, that's why you should have a team with you. Somebody can take over the chest compressions, you move to another thing, you can start doing the bagging. We won't have the time to start going through all that here. But at least if you don't know what else to do, if you're not, you are not a professional CPR provider, you can at least start administering chest compressions. It's been proven to have, to be able to save a lot of lives.
Chest, okay, well, just for people who actually are kind of unconscious, right? All right.
Okay, let's...
Thank you, Rosa.
Briefly, let me say this.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't, just like it was, we have what we call the 3 C's in first aid.
Okay.
Check, call, and care.
Check, call, and care.
Yes, so when I come in an accident, I make sure I check for every likely injuries I can see there. That is when I should now call. The immediately I make my call, I will now start caring for the casualties. This is when I will start doing all those things I'm doing now.
Okay, all right. So we've talked so much about trying to resuscitate people who collapse and stuff like that. Much more we'll talk about. I'd like to talk about pregnant women in a bit, but let's take our drinks and then let's take a break and laugh a little and enjoy this comedy. Well, let's just enjoy this comedy. I'll be right back.
Yeah, am I Nigerian? We are going to give you 7 eba.
No, eba don't finish. Eba don't finish.
Eba don't finish. Busy bow. No be eba. This is Saturday shop.
The one you buy last week, you don't pay. I beg. Chai. I beg. Mineral or pure water.
Yeah. Let me say eba don't finish.
Give me. The one you buy last week, you don't pay.
Eba lele. Eba lele. Body ko se balẹ̀. Ẹ̀bà lélẹ̀ bọ́bẹ̀ sí ọtí tí bá ní ó ti tó.
Ọlọ́ládé mi Shaggy.
Ẹ̀bà adéjọba kò. Nobody touch my ẹ̀bà. Adéjọba kò. Abẹ́yí gbọ́dọ̀ kò. Èrò dídí ẹ̀ like that too much. It is better you put on surplus. Who go pay money down the cup? Until he done the cup. But you pay more thank God. I go chop my color. Then they hold me, I see my doctor. If you don't do, I see my pastor. Say my pastor. I don't chop and go. I do it. Nobody tell me. If you never go, 7 raps.
Welcome. Where away my money?
Wait till be way your money. Calm down. You do like money? I said until they come. You see what? Hey, Jenny! Get. Talk of a devil. I beg give her 2.5.
From which money?
Which of which money? Money where you go withdraw?
You don't know anything. Oh man, they rob me. Now madman even rob me.
Hello, sirs. They're no born on our well.
All right, that's Dr. Shaggy there. Always something to laugh about. If you just join us, the program is The Medley Show. My name is Cecil. And we've been talking about first aid emergencies and different situations where you can administer first aid and the ABC and all you need to know. Just before that break, we had some practical sessions where we looked at CPR for different age ranges of individuals and how you can do that effectively. I still have my 2 guests with us. Chijioke, he's a doctor. Ikenna, he is a Red Crosser. You call yourself Red Crosser, right?
Red Crosser, yes.
Red Crosser, yeah, he's a trainer. And you can see for the much you have been giving us, you're actually taking us through some training. And thank you very much for that. I would like us to talk about seizures, epilepsy, and some other kind of seizures. So when there are situations where someone is experiencing a seizure, I don't know what to do. What should I do? I mean, what are the first things I should do? Okay,
the very first thing you should do when somebody is experiencing a seizure, there are basically 2 types of seizure, or 2 presentations. There's tonic-clonic, and then there's
what?
Tonic-clonic seizures, and then there is the localized seizure. Now, the tonic-clonic is when there's usually a global movement. You see the person moving the head backwards. You could have very dramatic presentations, trying to injure himself or herself. Now, in a situation like that, the very first thing you should try to do is ensure that that environment is safe for the person. Especially those who are moving around their bodies and all that. Ensure that the environment is safe. Ensure that there's no hard chair or something that can cause injury to the bone. Protect the head. most important. The most important thing you should do is to protect the head. So when you are done, I mean, you can put something soft to cushion the head.
Yeah, but if it's violently
to avoid
shaking, how can
head
I
injury.
steady?
Now, you should never attempt to hold down, manually prevent the violence. You should never attempt to, forcefully prevent the all you need to do is to create a comfortable position, comfortable environment for that individual, protect the head, and then proceed to putting the person in recovery position.
So
just like he demonstrated.
When it's violent like that, aggressive, is it going to calm down after a while?
It's going to calm down. What you should also do is to time.
Okay.
From the point, some people who have issues like that, who have frequent seizures and other issues related to that, they usually get to, I don't know how it is done here, but the more ideal thing is to wear a tag or have something, an identification tag that gives prior information or that gives full information about your health status and all. But even if you don't find, start timing from the point you started seeing the signs. I mean, that seizure started to whatever point, it is. If the seizure if it lasts more than 5 minutes, it's an emergency. You should rush the person to the hospital. You should call for help. Okay, so the main thing is to put that person in a comfortable position, in recovery position, and then let the seizure gradually come down. But do not attempt to forcefully hold the person.
So my business as a first aider is just to create the environment.
Yes, and call for help.
Do you want to add something to that very quickly?
Okay, yes, just like he said, you are not supposed to restrict or gag the casualty. You said something when casualties eventually, definitely they will fall down, they will come down. As they are falling, that is when you now start trying to protect the head. Don't allow them smash the head on the ground so that they don't suffer what we call a head injury.
Yes.
Another thing I want to put here now, it is not contagious. Most people think epilepsy or any other seizure is contagious. You get to hear people say that when you cross over them, you get infected. Some people will say when their saliva touches you, you get infected.
Serious?
It is not true.
Okay.
Maybe by now I would have had like 6 or 7 seizures with you people here, if it is true. You understand what I'm saying? Another thing is that for now, it doesn't really have a cure. It can only be managed.
Yeah.
So if you are very faithful to your drugs, take your drugs as and when do. Let's say the person usually have a 10 seizure in a year. The next year it might reduce to 7. The next 2 years it might reduce to 4. At some point he might not have the seizures again. But if he fails to take his drug, I'm sure it will come up back.
All right, very quickly, let's take this one sharp as quickly as possible. Electrocution, you had mentioned it earlier. So, electrocution, what happened? Of course, I'm not going to touch him. I know once upon a time I used to hear that use a dry stick and hit him. So, really, electrocution, how do we do that?
Okay. Now, there's a clear difference between electric shock and electrocution. I don't know if you know that.
Electrocution is death.
Thank you very much. Electric shock is when someone gets injured as a result of current passing through him. Set of injuries that someone gets after suffering current passing through him. But when we say electrocution, is when there is a death arising from current passing through him.
Yes.
So when the person is still alive, you don't talk about electrocution. What you talk about is electric shock.
Okay. So all right. We're running out of time. I'm sorry for those of you trying to reach us. Our phone line 081-177-8-2020. We've been experiencing some network challenge, but I think it's gradually coming. Your messages are gradually coming in. So once again, reach us on our phone line, text messages and WhatsApp only. I still see some of you trying to call, but please don't call, just text. And this time, it's our phone line, like I say, 081-177-8-2020. Let's take our last feature on the program for today, and this time is healthy living with food. Earlier, we talked about fitness, exercises, but this time, let's talk about food or what we consume.
Healthy living refers to the practice of adopting a balanced and holistic lifestyle that promotes physical, mental, and emotional well-being. It involves making conscious decisions that enhance your quality of life, such as engaging in regular exercise, reducing stress, getting enough sleep, and eating a nutritious and balanced diet. A healthy diet is essential for overall well-being, as it provides the body with the necessary nutrients to function optimally.
Eating healthy should not be a thing that should be strange to man. It becomes strange if it's not a part of man. The reason it's called eating healthy. Healthy in the sense that it should be your lifestyle, it should be your habit, it should be a part of you, beginning from when the child is born.
The food we eat plays a critical role in our health and well-being. A balanced diet should contain a variety of nutrient-dense foods that provide the body with essential vitamins, minerals, and other nutrients required for optimal health. A healthy diet should include fruits, vegetables, whole grains, lean proteins, and healthy fat. Additionally, it is essential to limit the intake of processed foods, refined sugars, and saturated fat.
This one is less sugar, this one is high. They are all the same thing. They are all the same thing. What matters is try to diversify your food. Make something out of your food. Bread must not be bread and butter all the time. We can take bread and sauce. Bread and avocado pear. In fact, I tell people in place of butter, avocado pear is a better and healthy option. It has less fat, but because we have noticed, because of that creamy part in avocado pear, you think it's so oily, so we want to run away from it. The percentage of fat in avocado pear is not even up to 1.
There are several factors that lead one to eat healthy, such as the desire to maintain an optimal health, reduce the risk of chronic disease, and achieve weight management goals. It is essential to maintain a consistent food diet by planning meals in advance, incorporating a variety of foods, and preparing meals at home. This helps to ensure that you are getting the necessary nutrients while also avoiding the temptation to indulge in unhealthy foods.
Now, it is a style you use in preparing your Nigerian cuisines that makes it exciting, attractive, and palatable. If your foods do not appear beautiful in color, it becomes boring. That's why, you know, dietitians will tell you rainbow foods, rainbow food. It's not a strange thing if you also make your rainbow foods in your yam and sauce. If you also make same rainbow food in your rice and sauce. If you also make the same rainbow food in your garri and soup. You have your garri and soup, design it to your own taste.
Keeping your meals interesting is also crucial for maintaining a healthy diet. Experimenting with new recipes, trying new foods, and varying the preparation method can help keep meals exciting and enjoyable. It is also important to practice portion control to prevent overeating, which can lead to weight gain and other health problems.
The most is understanding at what point am I consuming these snacks. If I should take fruits, I took fruits now with my breakfast, then I should take these snacks for supper if I am feeling hungry, instead of going for your usual heavy meals. Now you go for your healthy snacks. If you're preparing locally yourself, then you know that a piece of these snacks and water, I am good to go and I sleep.
Taking more of fruits instead of confectionaries and maintaining a balanced diet is highly advised when it concerns living a healthy life.
All right, that's the last feature on the program today. And just while that was on, I was trying to go through as many of your messages as possible, and I see a number of you are very appreciative of what we are doing here, and we thank you very much. We are glad that you are following. While still a number of you are asking questions off what we're talking about. We're talking first aid on the program today. Well, don't worry, I'll look through your programs, and at other episodes I'll try to create something around that. So many of you are saying thank you and you love the show. Hello Medley, love the show from Maiduguri, from all across the country. Greetings, I'm your fan, especially of Cecil. Sorry, and some of you are trying to call. I can't take all this, but I appreciate you honestly and very sincerely. Ikena Chijoke, your last word before I say bye-bye.
Okay, what I have to say is this. This is for everybody. I feel this is one of the most important things everybody should be learning. It doesn't matter what level of study it is, whether it's primary school, secondary school. I feel it's more important than a lot of what we studied in school. So we should ensure that first aid, basic life support should be included in school curriculum.
School curriculum, very important.
It should be.
It should be.
Because this can happen anywhere.
I support you. I really support you. First aider.
Okay, just to add up to what he said, is one aspect of our individual life that most times people don't really take serious. An accident happens almost on a daily basis. And when you get there, you find out that most people, instead of helping, end up worsening the condition of the casualty. In some cases, they even cause their death. True. So I think it is time each and every one of us try to go get trained on this important aspect of our life and be very helpful to the society. You never can tell when it will be.
We never can tell when you go there necessary. All right, thank you very much, guys. Some people are telling me to tell you thank you. Tosin from Osun State, and many people saying well done and thank you for all that you've done on the show today. All right, from me, it's also thank you very much. You can watch past episodes of this program on our YouTube page, NTA series, and you can get a look at the Medley show and watch our past episode. Or you can send me messages on my social media handles, Facebook and Instagram, Cecil Egbele, Twitter at Cecil G. All right, I want to say happy Ramadans to my Muslim brothers and sisters. That is just coming up in a few days from now. For me and the entire production crew, tomorrow or next, I think. For me and the entire production crew, it's bye-bye.